president, I think Elon Musk believes he's president.
You're like, wait a second, like, come on, man, this is too.
Elon Musk's $80 million lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg and The View has become a flashpoint in a cultural and legal debate that goes far beyond the parties directly involved. Musk's accusations of defamation and intentional misinformation against Goldberg and her co-hosts stem from remarks made on air suggesting that Musk and Senator J.D. Vance were plotting to manipulate government control in the event of Donald Trump's removal from office. These allegations have sparked heated discussions about media accountability, the ethics of public commentary, and the limits of free speech in an increasingly polarized society. Goldberg's response to the lawsuit has been dramatic, with her tearfully insisting that her remarks were misunderstood and never intended to harm Musk. In an infamous explanation, she claimed her comments about someone tripping Trump were inspired by her cat's habit of lying in wait on the stairs. "Okay, I need to clean something up," Goldberg said during an episode of The View. "My cat lays in wait for me on my stairs all the time, and that's what I was thinking of. I wasn't trying to indicate that they were actually standing there with their legs out, hoping he would trip." While Goldberg's defense may have provided some unintentional comic relief, critics have largely dismissed it as an inadequate attempt to deflect responsibility for her remarks. Musk's legal team has taken a hardline approach, asserting that Goldberg's statements were not only false but made with malicious intent. According to the lawsuit, her comments were reckless, potentially harmful, and aimed at damaging Musk's reputation and public standing. Musk contends that such unfounded allegations, broadcast to millions of viewers, contribute to a climate of division and public mistrust. For Musk, this lawsuit is not just about his reputation. It's about sending a message that influential media figures must be held accountable for spreading what he perceives as dangerous and defamatory misinformation. The legal battle has ignited a firestorm on social media, with hashtags like #SupportElon and #CancelTheView trending for days. Supporters of Musk argue that his lawsuit represents a necessary pushback against a media culture that often prioritizes sensationalism over factual reporting. Critics of The View point to the show's history of making inflammatory claims about high-profile figures, arguing that Musk's legal action could serve as a wake-up call for media outlets to reevaluate their practices. Detractors of Musk, however, warn that the lawsuit could have chilling implications for free speech, discouraging media personalities from engaging in candid discussions or tackling controversial topics. Goldberg's tearful apology has done little to quell the controversy. Many have questioned whether her remorse is genuine or simply a strategic attempt to mitigate the potential fallout from Musk's lawsuit. Her unusual explanation about her cat has only fueled skepticism, with critics mocking it as a trivial excuse for remarks that had serious implications. Musk's supporters argue that her shifting narrative reflects a deeper awareness of her misstep, further undermining her credibility. On the other hand, Goldberg's defenders contend that Musk's lawsuit represents an overreach by a billionaire seeking to silence his critics, framing the legal action as an attack on free speech rather than a legitimate demand for accountability. The lawsuit has also brought renewed scrutiny to The View, a show that has long been criticized for blending entertainment with political commentary in a way that some argue sacrifices journalistic integrity. Critics accuse the show of fostering division and spreading misinformation under the guise of spirited debate. Musk's legal action has only amplified these concerns, with some calling for the show to be canceled altogether. Others suggest that cancellation is not the solution and that implementing stricter editorial guidelines and fact-checking processes would be a more constructive response. One of the most contentious aspects of the lawsuit is Musk's claim that Goldberg's remarks incited violence. During the controversial episode, Goldberg joked about someone potentially tripping Trump, which Musk's legal team argues could be interpreted as encouraging harm. While Goldberg later clarified that the comment was meant as a joke about her cat, Musk's supporters argue that such statements, even when framed as humor, can carry dangerous implications when broadcast to a wide audience. Critics of Musk's lawsuit, however, counter that this interpretation stretches the intent of Goldberg's words and risks suppressing satire and political humor. Joe Rogan, the influential podcast host known for his unfiltered opinions, has weighed in on the controversy, adding another layer to the ongoing debate. Rogan criticized The View for what he described as blatant hypocrisy and opportunism, pointing out how the show's hosts once praised Trump
were
before
removed
later
from office.
vilifying him during his presidency. Rogan's critique has resonated with Musk's supporters, who see his lawsuit as part of a broader effort to challenge what they perceive as a biased and sensationalist media landscape. Resurfaced clips of Goldberg warmly welcoming Trump on The View have further fueled the controversy. In these older episodes, Goldberg referred to Trump as a friend and expressed admiration for him, a stark contrast to her more recent criticisms. Musk's supporters argue that these inconsistencies highlight a pattern of shifting narratives driven by political expediency rather than principled beliefs. Critics of The View contend that this opportunism undermines the show's credibility and reinforces the need for accountability. The broader implications of Musk's lawsuit extend far beyond this specific case. If Musk succeeds, the legal battle could set a precedent for how public figures pursue defamation claims against media outlets, potentially reshaping the boundaries of free speech and journalistic responsibility. Supporters of Musk argue that the case could encourage media platforms to adopt stricter standards for accuracy and fairness, reducing the prevalence of sensationalism in public discourse. Critics, however, warn that a victory for Musk could discourage media outlets from addressing controversial topics.
I've called him vice president. I called him president because I don't know what J.D. is doing. I hardly ever. I don't remember the last time we even
have only intensified public scrutiny, with many questioning her credibility and the integrity of The View as a platform. Her claim that her remarks were inspired by her cat has become a punchline for critics, overshadowing her attempts to convey genuine remorse. Regardless of her intentions, the controversy has underscored the high stakes involved in the lawsuit, both for Goldberg and the broader media landscape. Ultimately, Musk's legal action raises fundamental questions about the responsibilities of media figures and the role of public platforms in shaping narratives. For Musk, the lawsuit is about more than just clearing his name. It's about challenging a media culture he views as increasingly reckless and divisive. For Goldberg and The View, the case represents a critical moment of reckoning, forcing them to confront the consequences of their words.
But when you have deliberate, concerted, repeated pushing of hoaxes, you're like, wait a second, like, come on, man, this is too far.
Ability of influential platforms. Whether Musk prevails or not, the case has already sparked important conversations about the power of words and the need for greater transparency and fairness in public discourse. In a world where trust in media is increasingly fragile, the stakes of this legal battle could not be higher.